Recently, people have been asking me about diet because diet's obviously huge and we do need to eat. And sometimes it's like, but what should I eat? So recently, I put a post and it was around the beige foods. Now, they're considered, if you look at the yellow, look at the white, they're the processed foods. And basically, they have very little nutrition in them. But for whatever reason, every plate or every meal you go to, whether it's a restaurant meal or at home, we have this behavioural habit in some ways of your plate's not full unless it's got potato. Your meal is not complete unless you've got the pasta. And is gluten free better? Well, no, because actually, to make gluten free stuff, it's even been more processed. So, unless you're a celiac, unless you really have to have gluten free stuff, I would actually say try and avoid it. People also want to ask me, is the white rice, I've heard that's not as good as the wild rice or the brown rice. Basically, the only benefit, I guess, of the wild rice maybe or the brown rice, there's a little bit more fibre in it, but otherwise, it's still a carbohydrate. It still breaks down to sugar. And then sometimes people say, well, I feel really full when I've had my pasta or my bread or my potato or my kumara. Well, that can be also because you've had this amount of whatever it is, the rice, the pasta, and it gets heavy in your body. And then also what it does is it draws in water because it's of its high sugar content. There's no nutritional value in it. For me, if I want to add bulk to my meal, I look at using either a green vegetable to fill up the plate, or I use cauliflower. Cauliflower is really low carb. It does not stimulate the sugar responses. So it doesn't stimulate insulin, because what we're wanting to do is try and prevent these spikes of sugar that we ingest. And so if we can, even just one less meal, if it's of pasta a week, or if you're normally having a cup, try and reduce it to half a cup in size. Remember, it's all about that progress, but it's just thinking about other substitutes. Now, often it's convenient and it's an easy thing. Okay, I've got my meat. Okay, I've got some veg, but now I need my pasta. Now I need my starch, my carb. So I know that it's a change in thought process, but you can find other substitutes. Like I say, the green vegetables. And so I'm not telling everyone to be a rabbit either. But the bulk of feeling full and getting all the nutritional input is from your proteins, is from your fats. So that's what you need to focus on. And if you're feeling hungry, you can't go like 3 hours between a meal, 4 hours, and you're having a snack, then actually look at how much protein you're having. Because sometimes I know there's all this talk about protein, bad for your kidneys and so forth, but actually, if we're not having enough of it, we're not going to be full enough either. And our body is full of proteins. And that's what we sort of break down. So we've also got to replace those. So we want to use that protein for the building blocks and also for feeling full. And really low sugar. There's very little sugar in our proteins. And if we're thinking of, I've got my meal, it doesn't look quite right, bulk it out with your zucchini, with your broccoli, with your cauliflower, with your kale. So think about that. And if you're thinking, I can't live without the stuff yet, remember, just try less amount. And if you're at half a cup already, try and do a quarter of a cup of a serving and bulk up your proteins and your fats. Give that a go. That's a starting point. Progress, remember. We want to try and get rid of those sugar spikes.